2 balls and a strike to count on Taylor. Reyes fires, swing and a drive, deep left field. It's his way back. Walk the ball. Chris Taylor.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Matt Moreno. Matt, busy weekend of news. We got a rumor roundup for you here on Monday morning. Freddie Freeman still in the mix. Jorge Soler, Seiya Suzuki, some names that are floating around. I mean, after months and months of nothing, Matt, now it feels like it's coming, maybe not as quickly as we anticipated, but there's lots to talk about. So how are we feeling this morning?
Pretty good. I agree with you. I think everything sort of landed in the middle, obviously, with the timing of the lockout ending and then spring training camps opening. There was an expectation that there would be a huge rush on free agency, and we haven't quite seen that, but at least some of the speculation seems like there's negotiations going on has, picked up a little bit. Yeah,
some crazy trades out there. The Yankees making some moves, Sonny Gray on the move, the A's making moves. So we expect Andrew Friedman is going to be busy here in the coming days. But let's get into this. We're going to get to Freddie Freeman in a moment. I think maybe a fascinating name that the Dodgers have been connected to is Jorge Soler. Just turned 30 years old, right-handed hitter. They were linked to Nelson Cruz, and Nelson Cruz has since signed with the Nationals. So now Soler sort of sits alone in this, can't play any form of defense, but now the universal DH here, and is he a fit? So let me rattle off some numbers for you, Matt. You tell me whether you think this is a fit for the Dodgers. He hit 48 home runs in 2019. That was sort of the career year. He hit 27 last year. Last year, though, his OPS was just 748. He hit 223. Basically the same numbers that he had in 2020. So 2019, that 48-year home run year, feels like the anomaly when you look at the whole thing. StatCast does like him, though. He's top 20% in exit velocity, hard hit, expected weighted on base, expected slugging, barrel percentage, and walk rate. However, as I've hinted at, he's an atrocious defender. Fourth percentile in outs above average, second in outfielder jump. Second percentile, not second overall. Second percentile, basically last. So it brings me to this guy can clearly hit. He's a right-handed hitter, which the Dodgers have long needed. They got a ton of lefties on the bench. But I guess with this rumor, with the Cruz rumor before he signed with the Nationals, I had mixed feelings about signing the designated hitter that can't play the field. Where do you land on Soler being the latest name of a guy that kind of fits that mold?
It's a complex issue. I was definitely surprised that the Dodgers were linked to Nelson Cruz as much as they were. When there was kind of the first report, like, oh, they have interest, I thought, okay, it's typical Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers. They're going to kick the tires on every scenario. And then it came out that, Nelson Cruz, there was mutual interest that Nelson Cruz is interested in signing with the Dodgers. And then it slowly turned into, Dodgers and Padres are the front runners. He obviously ended up with the Nationals. And all the while, Jorge Soler has kind of been a little bit more casually mixed into this picture. They were both intriguing options to me. I think as much as Soler isn't good defensively, at least he can kind of get out there, I think. And maybe with the Dodgers coaches and positioning, they could kind of help him a little more. So that one, because of that, made slightly more sense than maybe a Nelson Cruz. But really both of them, seem like sort of luxuries. And just if it was going to be, the right type of deal for the Dodgers, I'm guessing they probably wanted Nelson Cruz for 1 year. He ended up getting reported 2 years from the Nationals. I think there's an option in there. With Jorge Soler, it's a little bit more unclear. My guess is that would be short-term as well. He is intriguing. Like you said, he makes a lot of hard contact. So I can see where they might be drawn to him for that reason. But again, I just don't know if they're going to make, too much of a concerted effort to get that done.
Yeah. Again, they've said all along, hey, we want to use the designated hitter to get some guys off their feet, to rotate people around. And you look around and you say, Justin Turner's not a guy that you probably want playing third base 162 times this year. You look around in the outfield. A.J. Pollock's probably not a guy that you want to stick in the outfield 162 times. Obviously, Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger, those type of guys, fine. Let them play a ton. But even when one of your best hitters is your catcher, you don't want him having to catch. You want his bat in the lineup on days when Austin Barnes is filling in for him. And so I know when a guy like Nelson Cruz, who is as elite as he is and continues to hit at an unbelievable rate, that makes sense. I look at Soler's numbers. They're just not good enough for me to sacrifice the value of the rotated DH. Again, 48 home runs in 2019, that's amazing. He had an OPS of 748 last year. That's not very good. He hit 223. Yes, he had 27 home runs, but is that really worth all of what I just talked about, not to mention it's probably stunting the development of a guy like Gavin Lux because it's less playing time for him, stunting the development of some of the younger guys like Zach McKinstry, Edwin Rios, etc. So I just look at this and I don't think the value is there for a guy like Soler to justify it. Now, we'll see. I mean, the Dodgers, they can shift some things around. I think the Cruz interest made sense. Soler, not so much to me. But the other name mentioned in this conversation is Seiya Suzuki. Outfielder, coming over again. He was posting, and then all of a sudden the lockout happened, and he was in limbo, and now he's back again. John Heyman reporting the Dodgers among the quote hottest pursuers. That was listed with like 5 other teams, so take it with a grain of salt. He's another right-handed bat, a guy that could play outfield, a legitimate defender, so he makes more sense to me than Soler, but he is just an outfield bat. Do you think Suzuki? To me, Suzuki makes way more sense than Soler. I think the fit is better. I think AJ Pollock, I believe, has 1 year left on his contract, and so and maybe there's a club option there too. I can't remember, but long term, I can see the fit there. The Dodgers don't have any obvious outfield guys coming up, and so Suzuki makes more sense to me. The flip side is with a lot of these guys coming over, you just never know what you're going to get from an offensive profile. So, are you Soler or Suzuki? If you had to choose, who would you pick?
I would definitely lean towards Suzuki in that scenario. I just, even, with some of the kind of the unknown, like you said, making the jump from MPB. I think also another thing to consider, though, is his market. The Dodgers may end up getting priced out of it.
Yeah.
And so to me, I've never necessarily viewed him as too much of a realistic candidate, I guess, if you will, especially if it seems like the Dodgers might want to go and spend to get Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
And so, but again, if he's there on terms that the Dodgers can make work, then out of Nelson Cruz, Jorge Soler, and Seiya Suzuki, Suzuki obviously makes the most sense just from an overall roster standpoint.
Yeah.
I just don't really see that come. I imagine that they'll get priced out by some other team.
Yeah, it feels like all of the guys we're talking about are backup plans to Freddie Freeman. And obviously there's some other guys out there. Chris Bryant still hasn't signed, Nicholas Castellanos. There's other names out there. But yeah, I'm with you. I can't imagine them spending on Freddie Freeman and then going out and trying to sign a Suzuki or Soler. So let's get to Freddie Freeman, the guy that everybody wants to talk about, is still out there. We kept getting reports, I believe it was Friday night, hey, 24 hours, we expect him to sign. Here we are Monday morning. As of recording this podcast, we have 0 updates. It seems like the Dodgers and Braves remain the favorites. The Yankees remain in the mix. I'm not sure if their big Josh Donaldson trade and taking on his entire salary would change anything there. But it's kind of a weird situation. No real news. I'll ask it to you this way. Is your optimism waning? As time goes on, do you get more confident or less?
Less confident. And, I know I've been on here with you, and my confidence has been relatively high. When, the Braves not getting that done before the lockout, I thought would hurt them.
Yeah.
It looked like things were taking shape that way, and definitely going into the weekend like that was going to be the case. But then, like you said, Saturday came, nothing. Sunday came, nothing. Now here we are recording this Monday morning, still nothing. And, I've had intermittent sleep the past 3 days, waking up to make sure there isn't breaking news at, 5, 6 a.m. Still nothing. It's a little surprising. I don't know if it'll stretch beyond maybe Tuesday, just because I think Freddie probably, camps are going to start opening, games start this week, and I think he'll want to get into wherever he's going to be playing.
Yeah.
And sort of get settled. But yeah, we'll see. My confidence has steadily declined since, the past few days.
It's such a weird scenario because obviously it's a big decision for him. I understand you need to take time, and, it's easy for me on the outside to be like, hey, hurry up. And yet at the same time, I'm like, he's had so much time to think about this decision. Like, unless the Braves have dramatically changed their offer, it felt like with every major league team had to do, you come up with contingencies. All right, if the Dodgers offer is what it is and the Braves offer is what it is, we've got 3 months to decide. What if the Dodgers go up? What if the Braves go up? Like, all these types of things, and maybe the Yankees jumping in complicated things. Because who knows? I mean, as of 3 days ago, the Dodgers, by all reports, had the best offer on the table for Freddie Freeman, but maybe that's changed, maybe not. So we'll see how that one plays out. A couple other rumors worth noting. Albert Pujols is a guy a lot of Dodger fans have talked about. We have seen nothing connecting Albert Pujols to the Dodgers. So remains to be seen there. It seems like they might be going their own way, although who knows? Maybe Albert Pujols is plan D or plan E in the grand scheme of things. One other thing this morning that's interesting, not Dodger specific but related, Fernando Tatis news breaks that he has a fractured wrist. Dennis Lin of The Athletic says he's could be headed for surgery that comes with a recovery time of up to 3 months. He came back just a few minutes later to say, just to be clear, there has not been a decision made on surgery yet, but Tatis fractured wrist, so you never want to celebrate somebody else's injury, but man, brutal for the Padres. right as the season is about to start. 3 months from now, he would basically miss 2.5 months of the season. So lots going on in the baseball world. As always, DodgerBlue.com has got to be your source for the latest news. DodgerBlue1958 on social media. And of course, right here on DodgerBlue1958 YouTube, click subscribe, ring the notification bell as well. We mentioned a bunch of guys the Dodgers have been linked to. They did make a signing in the middle infield, backup infielder market. We've got a video coming later this week breaking that move down, as well as some of the other names they were connected to as well. So that's Matt Moreno. My name is Jeff Spiegel. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time.